Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Coming in at number 50 on our countdown is it's kind of like that Christmas present that you're just waiting to unwrap, and it gets closer and closer and closer, and then you finally get to unwrap it. It says, actually, this is a present for the future, and it's like, oh, man, like, I don't know when this is going to happen. It's Kalia Davis, who's a fun player. Was drafted in 2022 coming off an ACL tear. So you got him second to last pick in the 6th round. Very, very late pick in 2022. And the whole idea was, look, we're going to stash him, and then he's going to compete in 2023. Well, 2023 rolls around, played in 3 games, got re-injured, quote-unquote, stashed again, and it just really hasn't come to fruition 2 years into this. Remember, this guy was drafted, I think it was like 42 picks ahead of Brock Purdy, and he still hasn't seen the field. Now, the first year, obviously, coming off the ACL, that was expected before you drafted him, but you wanted some type of return in 2023. It didn't come. Now we're sitting here in 2024. They didn't add much to the defensive line, so you got to get something, and a big reason why Kalia Davis came in at 50, I thought he'd be lower. They didn't add defensive tackle depth behind him, besides one undrafted free agent, Evan Anderson, who I think is his direct competition. But if we look at just the journey of Kalia Davis through 3 49ers Rush roster countdown, 2022 he was 66. We knew he wasn't going to play that year. Last year was 43. This year, 50. So he took a drop. He hit the highest rank that he had on our 4 ballots was 32nd. Lowest was 64. I think I was lowest. I don't know. His tape was so bad in those 3 games. He actually had 1 good game against the Eagles and then back-to-back bad games. I think it was weeks 14 and 15. Just terrible. It was terrible. And so whenever they said, the high ankle sprain, no doubt he was probably injured. I didn't see it on tape. It's just one of those things like, you're injured now. It's the Shanahan injury special. It's what it is. Now, he wears jersey number 93, which is a very familiar number for 49ers fans, and DJ Jones. When they drafted DJ Jones, everybody, Kusaric, Shanahan, Lynch, we see him as a DJ Jones type, right? 6'2", 310. He's a big dude. He's that type of guy. Has not come to fruition. Now they go out and they get Evan Anderson and pay out the rear end for that undrafted free agent, and of course now he's the new DJ Jones. The 49ers have been grasping at straws, trying their hardest to find a DJ Jones replacement since he has been gone. Can Kalia Davis in year 3 come out of the shadows and prove that he could be that? Man, we sure as heck hope so, because there is not a lot of depth. Once we get to the end of this episode and we go through that defensive tackle depth for the 49ers, it's shy. There's not much. And so with how little Kalia Davis has played, I would not think that he's a lock to make this roster, but you look at the depth chart, it's like, oof, who's going to make it over him? Not really anybody. Not really anybody at all. Now, he didn't do a lot of his athletic testing because of the injury, so you don't have like a 40, a 3-cone, a vertical, no lower body anything. But you look at the play style, which, man, he was fun at Central Florida because he was a linebacker at like 280, and then they converted him to defensive tackle finally. The athleticism, the effort, the motor are incredible, so they got by with him at linebacker for a long time. Dominic Easley, Mike Daniels, those are the 2 guys that, man, just high effort, leverage players at the college level. Have not seen that in the 3 games he's played in 2 years, going into his 3rd season yet. Really hasn't. From West Florida Tech, the Jaguars, went to Central Florida as a 3-star recruit, criminal justice major. Love that. Intelligent as hell. He was recruited to UCF as a linebacker and played there. And it's so cool because you see this big old dude, close to 300 pounds, playing stand-up linebacker. It's a blast. It's fun to see. Academic all AAC honors, smart guy, freak, explosive, all those things. And the whole idea was this dude's going to be a solid defensive line rotational piece last year, 2023. Just never happened. Stash him, let him learn, let him absorb the culture, let him rehab, and then in 2023, he'll have a full year under his belt, be ready to go. First game he was activated was week 13. Week 13. Now, it was a good week 13. Really, really was. But you're not getting any of the value out of him. And Kalia Davis, in year 3, is still a developmental player. That's a problem. At a position of need, at a position of value, that the 49ers, the defensive line position is paramount with how they build their entire team. And they're relying a lot on Kalia Davis or Evan Anderson. Those two guys, one of them have to step up in that role, or this defense is going to struggle. You're going to see a mid-season trade for a defensive tackle if Kalia Davis or Evan Anderson don't shine early. They have to get somebody to fill this role. They really do. And, the whole idea of Kalia Davis was, yeah, you could say DJ Jones, but he was a one-dimensional player almost at college at the defensive tackle spot. He's a pass rusher, which is awesome, and he's good at that. But what do you do whenever you have your big defensive tackle can't play against the run? He had a 37.9 run grade. That's about as bad as you're going to get. 64.4 per pass rush grade. That's incredible. That's pretty good. For a number 5'6" defensive tackle, that's great. And so he's going to have a shot. He's going to have a role. But you can't be a liability against the run in the NFL and play in this defense. It'd be different if we played with stacked boxes and stuff, but no. The 49ers defense plays with the fewest stacked boxes in the NFL of almost any defense, and that's not going to change. So if you're a defensive tackle that can't handle double teams, you will be exposed continuously because we're not doing 5-man fronts. We're not doing 8- and 9-man boxes. No, we do a 6-man box on the regular. Guess what? 5 offensive linemen against 4 defensive linemen. Tackles are getting double teamed. It's the way this defense is designed. It's just what it is. Now, he played 59 snaps in 3 games last year. Not a lot. 20 run defense, 34 pass rush, 5 special teams. Week 1 against the Eagles was awesome. He goes out there, gets 2 pressures, 1 sack, 1 solo stop on only 19 snaps. Finished with a 71.3 grade. It was his first game in the NFL. Got a sack, and it was just like, ooh, who is this dude? Who is he? Next 2 games, god-awful. 41.8 overall, then 40.6 overall. Straight decline. 3 consecutive games in a row. Blown off the ball continuously. Destroyed by double teams. 0 pressures. 0 tackles. 0 everything in both games combined. Then you got the high ankle sprain. Not saying he didn't get hurt. I'm telling you that high ankle sprain did not last through the Super Bowl. That dude was basically a healthy scratch down the wire. It's just what it was. Now he's picked in the 6th round. Pick 42, one of the comp picks in the 6th round of 2022. Tariq Castro-Fields went right after him. Didn't make the team. Tariq didn't. But Kalia Davis did. 42 spots ahead of Brock Purdy. Like, that's what's so crazy. This is a back end of the roster player that you're hoping could pay some dividends. Meanwhile, 42 picks later, you get your franchise quarterback. And this is why, little tangent here, I always get upset whenever you spend picks on kickers and punters in the 3rd and 4th round, and you get up there and you're like, well, we didn't think anybody was going to make our roster after that. So, learn the lesson of Brock Purdy. I understand you're not going to draft Brock Purdy, but just because you don't project players to make your roster doesn't mean there aren't contributing primary position players out there like a Brock Purdy, like whatever, tackle, safety, fill in the blank, instead of just a special teams player. Not that kickers and punters don't matter, but stop wasting valuable capital on guys like that. It's not paid dividends. It really, really hasn't. Even though Mitch has been incredible, he wasn't incredible until after his rookie deal. Anyway, draft picks matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, here's my write-up on Kalia Davis before we drafted him. He had 2 official interviews with the 49ers before they drafted him. They liked him. Quickness, penetration. Played linebacker his whole life. Didn't change D-line until his redshirt sophomore year in college. Never stops running. Very high motor, top-notch motor. Energy all the time. And whenever he's at the podium, man, this dude, class clown, energy, fun player, and it translates on the field. He's a tweener, which is, at only 6'1", that's rough. Because it's like, do you lighten the load and go kind of 6'1", 270 edge guy? Or do you keep him in the middle? Niners want to keep him in the middle, but hasn't translated yet. Crazy project player that could pay huge dividends as a pass rushing defensive tackle. Slices through the gaps very, very well. Great first step. Consistency's not there. Adam Peters, whenever, he was Number 2, in the GM department, he says UCF runs a very similar defensive front, so it's easy to evaluate. That's what we got. What's going to happen with him? He's on a 4-year rookie deal for $3.7 million. He's made 1.2 of that. Only played in 3 games. No starts. That's trouble. Now, let's look at the depth chart. Okay, where does Kalia Davis fit in? Now, the 49ers keep 5 or 6 defensive tackles. That's it. Locks, Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, those are your starters. Jordan Elliott, you paid him a lot of money. Kevin Givens, been here freaking forever. That's 4. Now, out of this second-tier guys, you're keeping 1 or 2. Kalia Davis, T.Y. McGill, Evan Anderson, Alex Barrett, Shaquille Brown. You're keeping 1 or 2 of those guys. I think Kalia Davis and Evan Anderson, those are probably the 2, maybe Shaquille Brown. And then if you want the veteran stuff, that's T.Y. McGill. Alex Barrett, career-long special teamer, practice guy, culture guy. So I don't know. I can't believe they didn't really add much. The only guy you really added was Evan Anderson and a Shaquille Brown, who was an undrafted free agent by another team let go. Didn't draft anybody. That's why I think Kalia Davis makes this team. He's been here 2 years. You do have some good tape. That one game again, if you want to like Kalia Davis, type in Kalia Davis versus the Eagles, or you can go to our breakdown series on them at the 49ersrush.com and watch that game, or watch the separate Kalia Davis college breakdowns to see what he does. He's a fun player. Consistency and non-negative plays, that's what he's got to do. It's not the splash plays that's going to win him a job. It's the not getting blown off the ball against double teams. It's the not getting turned around one-on-one against a guard, which we saw in weeks 14 and 15. So I like the kid. He's a year behind, schedule. We needed him last year big time. This year, goodness, we do not have the depth. There's 4 defensive tackles, and we don't have a major run stuffer anywhere in this group. Maybe Malik Collins, maybe, but somebody, Evan Anderson, Kalia Davis got to step up, or the 49ers will be trading for a run-stuffing defensive tackle at the trade deadline. That's just all there is to it. So hoping Kalia Davis comes through in the clutch. You wait 3 years to open that gift, baby. It's time. Kalia Davis, go and get it.